Hey there! Welcome to the first video. New shirt. Although you can probably tell by the detritus around me that I started recording this like 10 seconds after the video that led up to this. So, Sonic Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the first cartoon to feature Sonic the Hedgehog as an animated character. It came out in the spring of 1993, as I recall. Its airtime was about 7 a.m. So it's the cartoon that kids got up to watch while they were getting ready for school. A couple weeks ago they stopped airing Saturday morning cartoons on regular network television. You can still watch Saturday morning cartoons on like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, like Disney XD and the other channels, but those are cable package channels. Like on the regular broadcast networks you can pick up with rabbit ears, there's no more Saturday morning cartoons. When I was a kid, not only were there Saturday morning cartoons on every channel, seriously, like 6 a.m. to noon, that was cartoon time on like every channel almost. But they also gave cartoons in the weekdays, like in the morning while kids were getting ready for school, and in the afternoon when kids got home from school, that's when they gave more cartoons. There were some great cartoons that aired in those time slots. Batman the Animated Series, Gargoyles, The Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky and the Brain, pretty much anything made by Warner Brothers, really. The Power Rangers aired in the afternoon. And these are all great cartoons, and they just don't do that anymore, and that's kind of sad. I mean, I guess they just got crowded out by cable networks that air cartoons all the time, but not. I know I'm speaking to at least some people out there that don't have cable. I mean, even in this day and age, that has to be a possibility. Like when I was a kid, cable was this fancy magical thing that only rich families had. But I guess it's become such an expectation that they just ignore the demographics. Although I suppose the internet has something to do with that, because I watch shows that I don't have the channels for on the internet, so I guess that is a thing. But I'm not talking about my lamentations of the loss of cartoons. I'm talking about the Adventures of Sonic. So what was the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog like? Well, if I were to compare it to anything, I would probably say if you were to cross Ren and Stimpy with the classic Looney Tunes cartoons, then you'd probably get something. You'd probably have an idea of what the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was like. It had that loose, rubbery-looking animation. It often had those backgrounds that were just like splotches of paint, like abstract backgrounds, which was very common in Ren and Stimpy. The character designs, most of them most of the main characters you'd see all the time would look like the characters, but then you'd see guest characters and one shots. They'd be drawn really weird, probably because almost like they were made up on the spot. Characters often had really weird proportions, like eyes that weren't actually in their heads, or like really huge overbites, stuff like that. And I'm not gonna say it was a bad cartoon, because it really wasn't. It was a good cartoon for what it was, which it was just to be an early morning distraction for kids so that they could have an incentive to wake up to go to school besides just going to school. It's something that made kids want to get up rather than have to get up. And, I think that helps. I think that actually helps with how you take your day. Like, if you get up for something that you want to do as opposed to something you have to do, it'll improve your outlook. And I'm waxing philosophical again. So, the basic overall story, there is rarely continuity between episodes, but there was a little bit. The basic overall story is that it's Sonic and Tails. They never actually make any references to if they live anywhere, so as far as I'm concerned, they're just a couple of street drifters. And there's Dr. Robotnik, who who looked nothing like the video game version. Like he had the well, the nostalgia critic said he looked like Santa Claus's sadomasochistic gimp brother, and that's kind of apt. I mean, he had the pointy head. He sounded like this. He talked, you know. And so Robotnik would come up with some schemes, like he'd come up with schemes to try and conquer the planet Mobius. Oh yeah, you have to remember, when this cartoon and the next couple of cartoons we're going to talk about were made, the video games didn't really have a centralized narrative. There was no establishment for what Sonic's world was supposed to be like. Like, what was the level of technology? What countries were there? Was it even the planet Earth, or was it some alien world? These things actually weren't made clear in the video games until Sonic Adventure came out. And in America, that was 1999. I think it came out late 1998 for Japan. But yeah, like, this is 5 years before we actually got confirmation that Sonic lived on Earth and the main population was human. So just think about that for a second. Like if you wanna nitpick any ideas of the world building, you have to remember the world building hadn't been established yet. But that said, what did it take from the video games besides Sonic and Tails themselves? Well, there were a lot of references, like they would often name drop places like the Starlight Zone or the Labyrinth Zone, which were levels from the video games. In fact, the Labyrinth Zone was this big underwater thing, and Sonic had to survive by inhaling bubbles. Although, for the record, in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic can swim. Like he does freestyle swimming. He can swim in this cartoon. I mean, it's funny, like, to see Sonic swim when the fact that he can't is such a huge part of his character that he's actually borderline hydrophobic. Yeah, but there was some good stuff in this show. Like there was an episode where Robotnik planted. He like set up 3 disasters on all around the world, and Sonic had to run around and stop all those disasters and was exhausted. And then after that, Robotnik revealed, "Oh, by the way, I planted very dangerous bombs at those locations you were just at." Ha ha ha! And Sonic's like, ah. So the exhausted Sonic has to run back to all those places to find the bombs so he could safely dispose of them. That's actually the closest that this version of Robotnik came to killing him, because in the end, Sonic had a backpack with 3 bombs in it. He realized that he had a backpack with 3 bombs in it and was barely able to throw it to safe distance before passing out and needing Tails to rescue him before he drowned, because he was swimming at the time. We also got introduced to a lot of one-shot characters, like Myrna the Merhog, Breezy the Robot Hedgehog, who would be one of Sonic's first love interests. We also got to meet other family members like Robotnik's mother. Robotnik had a mother in this cartoon, and he built himself a robot son who turned good, and he eventually hooked up with Breezy. That's funny. There was this crazy salesman, scammer guy. There was just a whole bunch of cartoon tropes. And none of those guys are really based off of anything from the video games. Except, there were badniks. Yeah, there were robots. I guess I should bring up now, Scratch and Grounder. Grounder, with a voice like Patrick Star, and, he was these 2 guys are idiots, but Grounder was the dumber of the 2. Basically, he was like a living Omni-tool. Like he's a Grounder from Sonic 2, except that he's green instead of red. I guess they figured he'd be less threatening if he weren't red. He has drills for hands and a drill in his nose, but he would like pull his hands in and other stuff would come out. Like he had a whole Swiss Army Man thing going on. And Scratch, he had this really scratchy, annoying voice. Ugh. You listen to him going for too long, and you're gonna like the nostalgia critic said, there's a reason you give these guys annoying voices, because they annoy you. So they were just a couple of bumbling idiots who tried to do do Robotnik schemes for him. Like, they worked for him, and he pounded them, he beat them up when they failed. But, you know, they weren't built smart enough to actually succeed in anything, so the poor guys. So, yeah, let's see, anything else from the video games? Oh, yeah, they did have Chaos Emeralds in this show. Except there weren't 7 Chaos Emeralds, there were only 4. And the 4 emeralds were actually, each had their own unique power. There was one that could turn you invisible, one that made you immortal, one that made you indestructible, and one that could bring non-living things to life. So these 4 emeralds are actually scattered across time. So Robotnik had to travel through time, and Sonic had to go chasing after him. That was actually one of the only major multi-episode arcs that this series had. It wasn't bad. Not at all. We got to see some really interesting characters. We got to see this show's version of a roboticizer. Like, he had a gun that could literally turn whatever he shot into a robot. He shot Blackbeard the pirate. And it makes you wonder, why didn't he use that gun to shoot Sonic and turn him into a robot slave? Of course, there was a robot Sonic in this cartoon, Pseudo Sonic, not Metal Sonic, Pseudo Sonic, who was piloted by this little rat that was being blackmailed by Robotnik. The thing is, Pseudo Sonic and regular Sonic never really got a proper fight, because in that episode, Sonic fell into Poison Flower Valley and he puffed up like a balloon, an itchy balloon, and Tails basically had to hijack the Pseudo Sonic and use it to foil Robotnik's plan, so never really got a satisfying fight between Sonic and Pseudo Sonic, which is a shame. There was also, I guess there was one episode that could be considered an adaptation to a Sonic game. Which game did they adapt? Why, one of the most popular ones ever made, of course, Sonic Drift! Yes, there was an episode in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon where Robotnik was gonna... He made all these robot racers. I think this episode was mostly an homage to Wacky Racers, but around the same time on the Game Gear they had released a Sonic kart racing game called Sonic Drift. Sonic Drift is not a good game, don't play it. So, according to the rules, Sonic has to be in a car. Like, hey, a lot of people say, why is Sonic in a car? Because competitions have rules. If they say it's a car race, you have to be in a car to participate in that race. You know? It's the same reason why why heavyweight guys don't just fight the lightweight guys so they win all the time in boxing or wrestling matches. So yeah, like, in the Sonic Drift adaptation, Sonic gets in the car and he has to race, and he's fight Wacky Racer style. All the evil car robots try to foil him and end up getting eliminated from the race. And there's one point where Sonic actually passes a signpost marker and goes into a special stage where they had to collect rings to come out the other side of the special stage, and that allows them to take a shortcut through the race. So, yeah, they did try to take whatever elements they could from the video game and put it into the cartoon. The thing is, there just wasn't a lot there, so they had to make up a whole bunch of stuff. And I think there was quite a bit of creativity in there. Although, like I said, overall what they came up with was just a blending of Ren and Stimpy with the Looney Tunes shorts. In fact, the closing credits of the cartoon were basically an homage to the Roadrunner cartoons. I remember this distinctly, the whole event. Like, they show Robotnik, he's standing on this road with like this arch he built, and when he pushes a button on a remote, it makes a giant weight come down. So Robotnik's intending to crush Sonic. So he goes and waits behind a rock, and then Sonic runs to a top speed and he pushes the button, and the thing comes down, but Sonic's too fast, so it misses. So Robotnik he throws the remote down, and he stands under the arch and he looks up at it, like probably wondering if he can make it come down a little faster or find a way to automate it, when Sonic runs back, grabs the remote, and pushes the button, causing it to slam down and flatten Robotnik. And then Sonic releases the button, and the thing goes back up, and so Sonic just chucks the remote and runs off, and then Robotnik comes floating down as a pancake and lands on top of the button and causes the thing to come down on him again. And that's the closing credits. And that's a pretty succinct summation of a Roadrunner sketch, one of Wile E. Coyote's wacky schemes that backfires on him. And yes, they do go with the cartoon physics of, yes, I've been flattened into a pancake, but I'll be okay in the next scene. It's derivative, yes, and the animation isn't exactly top quality, but, they had to make 60 episodes for a single season. Because remember, this is a weekday morning one, so you gotta fill in 5 weekdays for 3 months. So that's 60 days, you take out the weekends. And it's not a bad show. I'd watch it again. I'd probably enjoy it for the most part. I would recommend hunting it down. We actually still sell DVDs of this in my store to this day. Although I haven't seen a complete series compilation of this. I'm not even sure if one exists. Maybe if you could track down all the individual CDs that they sell, you might be able to put them together and reconstruct the entire series. But as far as I'm aware, there's been no full series compilation of this. You know what? I was just talking about the end credits, but there was one more element. The Sonic Says. It was PSAs. A lot of cartoons from this era had PSAs at the end. Like, perhaps the most infamous one, made famous on You'reTheManNowDog.com a few years ago, was the molestation one. And then there was, and then the Nostalgia Critic pointed out that some of the PSAs are kind of stupid, like don't climb into an active dryer. Like, this is really such a bad problem that you have to dedicate a PSA to it. Of course, that's not the stupidity of the cartoon, that's the stupidity of the American public. Or at least children. I'm pretty sure there was at least an episode of CSI where a child was killed by climbing into a dryer and getting banged around in there. So apparently this is a thing. I mean, they put in an episode of CSI. Okay, so I guess I've been kind of rambly. Although I am trying to talk about an entire TV series rather than just a single episode. But I think I said all I can. If any of you have any comments about the Adventures of Sonic cartoon, I'd like to hear them. So, post comments below. I'll try to respond. Anything particular you liked, anything you didn't like, I'm all there. Just as long as you have content. If you hated the show, that's fine. But provide some context for it. Like, don't just say, "Oh, this show sucks. It's terrible." Blah blah blah. Like, why didn't you like it? You need context. Otherwise, you're just some dude. I mean, I probably wouldn't even respond to some random hate quote. I need, if you want to have a discussion, then yeah, make a reason for a discussion. But no. This is comment etiquette. It's another non sequitur. Yeah, that's it. That's the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. If I were to rank them, let's see. If I were to rank this show, let's see, it would actually probably be my third favorite. Yeah, this will be number 3 for me. I'm pretty sure. And I'm gonna have to go over my preferences again, and maybe my opinion might change. But of the cartoons that existed before, I would definitely rank this third out of what did I say, 7? Yeah. Well, third out of 6. I'm still not sure whether I should count the Night of the Werehog short film. If the Night of the Werehog short film counts, then I think it would probably be 4th, because I did like that little short film. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people out there are probably expecting me to rank this thing really low, but no, it's actually, for what it was, a good cartoon, and I would recommend finding it. Alright, so this is Wake Angel 2001 signing off.